Hi Ajit, hi Mukund, and Kritika is not here. She's here. She's here. Matrix. Okay. Okay. So these are the new people, and everybody else knows. Good afternoon, ma'am. So today's session is activity-based learning, and I'll give a brief introduction about myself. There is some echo. Robin, I think you can mute yourself. Yeah, better. Thank you. Okay, so I'll give a brief introduction about myself. The flow of the session would be like why I chose this topic, what is activity based learning, how do we implement it in the classrooms or in the content, and when do we do that? Okay, another flow is very little part of theory. Then we walk through the examples that I've prepared, almost sort of a lesson plan. And then during that lesson plan, we do a lot of creative segments where you can right now practice a lot of examples, create your own activities, and then I can share my experiences as to what needs improvement, what is relevant, and what is not. Okay, so this is going to be the flow of the session. Okay, so brief introduction about myself. I am Apurva. I have almost 2 to 3 years of experience in math education. Before that, I was doing my bachelor's in pure mathematics. I did my master's in pure mathematics for 1 year. I left after that because I did not enjoy it. And then when I joined math education, I realized this is the perfect blend of what I have always wanted to do, because my aim was always to work around math phobia, especially at the fundamental level. So that means elementary and primary grades, and that's where I'm working right now. I'm working with a company called Prodigy Education. It's based out of Bangalore. It deals with the grade 1 to grade 8 mathematics. So I work on designing content, creating assessment items, creating their own version of SATs and other mathematical games, which are a part of my work. Okay, so this is a brief introduction that I'm doing right now, and this is my background. Now we'll quickly move to today's topic. Why I chose activity based learning is, brief disclaimer: if you find the session too slow or too fast, please give a heads up, okay, so that I know that we are on time. Why I chose activity based learning: A, it's extremely relevant to the current times, not only 21st century skills, but NP. Second thing, the condition of mathematics classrooms still at point becomes very monotonous and very dry. We still just end up doing numbers without any context, without any relevance. And for a child who does not understand real life a lot, it becomes very dry, and mathematics just ends up being about numbers, addition, subtraction, and all the operations. See, my personal aim is to make mathematics learning joyful, even when I'm as doing it as a teacher in the classroom directly, or while I'm designing content. Okay, another thing is that I know a lot of people just want to be teachers, deal with students directly in the classroom, but then there is another segment who either want to go into research, higher research, or just want to work with edtech organizations who are designing content. So this is going to be relevant for all of you. The session's inclination would definitely be primary and elementary grades, but we can discuss examples at middle and higher grades level also. Okay, another thing is, before I start with the definition of activity based learning, is it's very important for the perspective of activity based learning, because it forms the fundamentals of project based learning, theme based learning, or any such form of 21st century skills that we are trying to introduce in mathematics classrooms. Another thing is child psychology. How and why is it important to think from the perspective of a child, of a 7-year-old child? How do they think? Why do they think that? And what are the examples that are going to be relevant to them? ठीक है, I am going to take a little pause here. मुझे बस सब लोगों से ये पूछना है कि is English comfortable, or should I switch to Hindi and English both?
I mean, I'm okay either way, so yeah.
Okay. Okay, if anybody is not comfortable, please feel free कि हिंदी में switch करना है या सिर्फ English में stick करना है, so that I also know. ठीक है, I can modify accordingly. ठीक है. Now, starting with the definition of activity based learning. Activity based learning का मतलब क्या है? Completely literal. वो एक्टिविटी हमें कोई इंट्रोड्यूस करना है, कोई आर्ट फॉर्म इंट्रोड्यूस करना है मैथमेटिक्स क्लासरूम्स में, जिसका इंटेंट होगा कि हमें मैथमेटिकल कॉन्सेप्ट्स को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाना है, फन बनाना है और रेलिवेंट बनाना है। ठीक है, अगर हम एक 8 साल के बच्चे के साथ या 10 साल के बच्चे के साथ काम कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए वो एग्जाम्पल्स रिलेवेंट होने चाहिए। और मैथमेटिकल कल्चर क्रिएट करने का एक बहुत बड़ा एम ये है कि बच्चे को ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि वो काम कर रहा है। इफ वी आर एबल टू अचीव द फैक्ट दैट मैथमेटिक्स क्लासरूम्स आर अ फन सेशन फॉर देम or are a fun time for them, we are partially successful. ठीक है, a small tip for the people who are going to be teachers and because everybody has to do their internship, प्लीज फोकस ऑन द फैक्ट कि आप लोग क्लासरूम्स में जाके फर्स्ट डे मैथमेटिक्स एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग पे फोकस नहीं कर रहे हो। आप लोग फोकस कर रहे हो स्टूडेंट्स के साथ एक कनेक्ट डेवलप करने पे, ताकि बच्चों को मैथ्स क्लासरूम एक सेफ स्पेस लगे और अगर वो आपका कंटेंट पढ़ रहे हैं तो उन्हें कनेक्टेड फील हो कि ये जो लिखा है ये एक स्टोरी है, ये एक ऐसी बात है जो हमें पता है या हम इसके साथ खुद को ये हम अपने दिमाग में सोच पा रहे हैं। ठीक है, ये बहुत छोटी सी बात है बट इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना एट टाइम्स बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, स्पेशली इन गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स वेयर वी गेट टू डील विद 70-80 kids in a classroom at once. Okay, so it's very important that you use a lot of strategies to develop connect with the students, to develop connect within students. ठीक है, any doubts still here, any points? ओके ग्रेट। एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग पता चल गया, कोई भी आर्ट फॉर्म का इंटीग्रेशन, और हम क्योंकि मैथ एजुकेटर्स बनने वाले हैं तो हम मैथमेटिक्स के पर्सपेक्टिव में उसकी बात करेंगे। ठीक है, अब मैथमेटिक्स के पर्सपेक्टिव में आर्ट फॉर्म का इंटीग्रेशन किसी भी टाइप में हो सकता है। ठीक है, ड्रामा, स्टोरी, पेपर आर्ट, कोई गेम, कोई डांस, कोई पोएट्री, ये फाइंड आउट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और ये हमारे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि विच आर्ट फॉर्म, विच एक्टिविटी फॉर्म इज रेलिवेंट फॉर दैट एज, फॉर दैट ग्रेड एंड फॉर दैट कॉन्सेप्ट। क्योंकि अल्टीमेट एम ये है कि मैथमेटिक्स के किसी भी कॉन्सेप्ट को हमें फंडामेंटली स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है। ठीक है, ये हमारा अल्टीमेट एम होना चाहिए। बाकी सब टूल्स जो हम यूज कर रहे हैं ये हम सपोर्टिंग एलिमेंट्स यूज करते हैं ताकि हमारी प्रोसेस को कैटलाइज करते। हम किसी भी काम में अगर 100% एफर्ट दे रहे हैं, एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग से हम बच्चे का इन्वॉल्वमेंट इंक्रीज कर दें और एक ऐसा मिडल ग्राउंड अचीव करें कि बच्चे को लगे कि मैं खुद से कर रहा हूँ। और जब कोई खुद से कुछ करता है तो हमें हमेशा याद रखते रहता है, हमें याद करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, हमें लगेगा कि अच्छा ये तो हमने खुद किया है। इट इन्वॉल्व्स अ लॉट ऑफ हैंड्स ऑन प्रैक्टिस। ठीक है, इट इन्वॉल्व्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेल्फ लर्निंग एंड रियल लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस। हमारा एम है कि हमें बच्चे को सही डायरेक्शन में लेके जाना है और सही सही गाइडलाइंस के साथ वो एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग करवानी है। ठीक है, now another thing is why I did not share any theoretical research papers or any activities or any documents before the session, because this session is going to be a lot of hands-on. I will just go quiet in a while and you guys will have to, just try on your own and then I can share my experiences. Okay, let's start with the presentation now. Activity based learning. Activity based learning में हम आगे story mathematical storytelling पर move करेंगे। ठीक है, अब मुझे सब लोगों से एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है, जो भी न्यू लोग हैं, जो भी करंटली एमएमई में एनरोल्ड हैं, कि आप लोगों में से किस किस के पास टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस है या क्लासरूम एक्सपीरियंसेस है एज अ पार्ट ऑफ एनजीओ, स्कूल, व्हाटएवर, और योर ओन पर्सनल ट्यूशंस आल्सो। किसके पास टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस है? शुभम?
थोड़ा।
ओके ओके
I also have teaching experience.
ओके, हाय रूपल।
Hi.
ओके ओके, ठीक है, तो 3 लोगों के पास है। ठीक है, नाउ आई वुड एक्सपेक्ट अ लिटिल मोर फ्रॉम यू गाइज इन टर्म्स ऑफ शेयरिंग योर एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड चैलेंजेस विच यू फेस ड्यूरिंग द क्लासरूम। ठीक है, ताकि हम उनका सोल्यूशन अभी निकाल सके एंड मे बी वेन एवर यू गो, इफ एंड वेन यू गो टू क्लासरूम्स नेक्स्ट, यू आर बेटर इन डिलीवरिंग योर लेसन प्लान्स। ठीक है, और अगर आप कभी नहीं भी चाहते हो तो आपके कंटेंट को हम स्ट्रॉन्ग कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, ऑल गुड, कैन वी मूव अहेड? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. It is here. Okay, is my screen visible to everybody? I can't see anybody, so somebody will have to unmute themselves and say.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah.
Great, great. Okay. So activity-based learning in mathematics classrooms. Now this whole presentation is focused on giving a lot of examples which I have prepared, and while moving through the presentation there are some spots where we are going to try some hands-on activities, okay, and I've left some creative segments for everybody. So the aim is forward learning to all, share my experiences and listen to your experiences and find some solutions to the challenges. Objective knowledge sharing and knowledge enrichment. To keep the session precise, I've chosen grades 3 and 4. These are some of the topics that are going to get covered. Okay, the flow of this presentation would be something like we'll focus on riddles, we'll focus on mathematical stories, and then there is the last segment. Moving on, story time. Okay, so I'll quickly read it for everybody. Hi folks, this is the character Ed. I have chosen it from my company because I just wanted to make it interesting. You can choose any character design on your own and name it accordingly. It's fun, always fun. Hi folks, I'm back with a new story this time. The story is based on a place called Number Avenue and I want you to solve the mystery for me. Can you help me? I'm sure you will enjoy solving the mystery. Okay. Okay, I want everybody to read it carefully and then anybody can mute themselves and tell me what is happening here. Take 2 minutes, read it quickly, and then tell me, what is your perspective? What's the answer?
I think what the
Wait. I expected answers from you.
Okay, fine. All right.
Yeah. New people. Let them answer first and then maybe, we can pitch in.
Uh, so do we have to answer the riddle or we have to explain what's happening?
Both. You can do both, you can do either. Whatever you want.
So according to me, the answer should be 3975. It should be the house.
Okay.
And what the steps to solve it would be like going clue by clue. Like if we see the first clue, it has a digit 5, so we look at all the houses and see that all the houses have the digit 5.
Right.
And then all the digits are odd, so we will look at each house and eliminate those which have even numbers, even
Right.
digits in the numbers.
Right.
And then it has the greatest one digit number in its hundreds place, so we will look at the hundreds place of the of our options that are left.
Right.
And we find that the second house, that is 3975, it has the number 9 in its hundreds place.
Right.
So this must be the answer.
Okay, great. So, okay, everybody can see my screen. Now I have a question for everybody. What do you think, what all concepts are being used here and what is the teacher or the content creator trying to achieve? What is the specific objective here behind this question?
You'll have to show the screen with the riddle in it.
Okay, so is
I think the main concept should be the number system, and
Okay.
we're trying to talk about odd and even numbers, and the place value is also involved.
Right, right. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else that you observe here?
It has a very indirect approach of the application of the number system. You don't just go ahead and ask them what is the greatest one digit number that you find in this and at what place value it is. You're furnishing them with enough hand holding here, but at the same time they also need to work on their own to figure out the answer. So it's not very straightforward as an assessment. It's very disguised in that sense. So yeah, that is what I really like. That is my first impression when I look at it, that even with all the hand holding and all the factual statements to
Right.
help you through the question, as a learner you ultimately have to somewhere figure out on your own how to go about the question.
Right. Got it.
One thing that I found great about this particular activity is, although you have placed it like an activity on paper, but we can very easily plan it like in real sense. So that is very interesting. If children are, one person is guiding the other person and the other person is searching that house in real, that will be very fun, I think, for children.
Yes. Thank you so much for pointing that out. So, this activity definitely has that element, and we can also do it in a way that, let's say I'm doing it in the classroom. Okay, so I am delivering that lesson plan. What I can do is I can write or give only one clue at a time. Okay, this is the birthday invite, but I want all the kids to figure out the house number. So at one point I'm just giving one clue, and then we keep moving on, and then finally we are able to locate the right house number. For them it's a birthday invite riddle, but ultimately I have achieved the aim of assessing their understanding of the concept of number system as a whole strand, and place value, odd and even, their understanding of greatest and smallest numbers. So there are three sub concepts which I am actually assessing here. Okay, any other points that anybody else would like to point out before we move to the next segment? I'll have to keep switching so that I can see. Okay, since we do not have any other points, we definitely have the Q&A session, okay, after every segment. So don't worry, you can ask your questions there. Now we have the riddle time. Okay, this was one riddle. This was one form of the riddle in the form of a story. Now we have the next set of riddles. Okay, we have found the house number. We are going to try some riddles. I am going to present my screen again, and let's go. One by one, there are going to be riddles. You can solve it and you can unmute yourself and answer, because I will not be able to see the answers in chat box as of now. Riddle number one. Now, another thing, you also have to tell for which grade is it, grade 3 or grade 4. I just want to check that also. So when you answer, you can mention the grade also.
Like we answer the question here. Is that what you want us to
Yes. Not you. I would
do?
prefer.
Okay.
Okay, I would prefer all the current MME students to answer this first. And when you answer, let's say the answer is 100 or something. So what you have to do is you have to give the answer and then tell me which grade is it appropriate for, more appropriate, grade 3 or grade 4, this riddle. Because these are the only two grades I have taken.
मुझे मैं बोल सकता हूँ ना?
हम्म।
हाँ, तो ये आई थिंक 5th ग्रेड तक के लिए ठीक होगा।
Okay.
3rd to 5th मुझे ऐसा लगता है।
हाँ।
क्योंकि 3 डिजिट नंबर और ये प्लेस वैल्यू बच्चे जान चुके होते हैं।
राइट।
और क्या इसका आंसर क्या 142 है क्या?
आप बताओ क्या होना चाहिए। 142 आपके हिसाब से आंसर है, ठीक है। आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू आंसर, लेट्स सी व्हाट एवरीबॉडी एल्स हैज टू से।
हाँ, अगर 3rd क्लू की सेकंड पार्ट को अगर मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ, डबल द नंबर ऑफ वंस, तो 142 मुझे लग रहा है सर।
ओके,
ठीक है, मेरी तरफ से ये था।
ओके। Anybody else besides Shubham? It's okay, you can answer incorrect. Yeah.
I'm not completely sure about the answer because the statement double the number of ones is a bit ambiguous for me. I'm not able to understand what is double the number of ones.
Okay.
And I think it should be appropriate for grade 3 because in grade 3 we introduce the numbers till 1000.
Right.
So it could be appropriate for grade 3.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Great. Who was this? Who answered this? Was it Rupal?
Drupal, yes.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Anybody else?
Now is the floor open for the not new people.
Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, like Rupal said, and stemming from Shubham ka answer also a little bit. I feel the third clue in this that says that double the number of ones. Even as adults, we find it to be ambiguous. Okay,
Right.
and ambiguous in the sense if I'm looking at it from the perspective of somebody who's delivering this riddle to the learners. Okay,
Yeah.
so अगर मैं उनको बोल रही हूँ double the number of ones, I will have to somewhere clarify that here double the number of ones is with respect to the 4 tens that we are mentioning, which is why I think it should be 148 as per me the answer.
Right.
Other than that, the first two clues are appropriate for grade 3, but because of the third clue and minusing the ambiguity, let's say we have rephrased it even better, but to work around with 3 clues that are a little distant from each other and not very coherent to each other, not very closely related to each other, I feel overall this is sort of appropriate for grade 4 at a little bit of medium to high level.
Right, right. Got it. Okay. So, very interesting observation. This was put on purpose because I wanted to see if anybody is able to point out this ambiguity. I had written this statement clearly first, and then I realized, okay, let's make it a little ambiguous so that we can realize it from a perspective of a child, and then, we rephrase it better. Now, my question to everybody is I want you to rephrase the last clue in a way that either your answer is 142 or 148. Take your time, take a minute or so, and then rephrase it. And then you can unmute yourself and answer. It's okay. It's okay. That's okay.
Same, even I didn't find it ambiguous.
That's okay. That's okay. See, that is the beauty of riddles and activity based learning because when the child asks such questions, and let's say there are two kids in your classroom, and one says the answer is 142, the other says 148. Now, there is the area where that argument is going to happen. Okay, because every child will try to prove themselves right. We as an educator need to be very very clear in our instructions so that every child is able to understand that, because at the next point I am going to expect the child to create their own riddles, so that mathematical instruction, that instruction design needs to be clear. Some children may find it absolutely clear. Okay, so that would be okay. And just for your information, all these riddles are tested ones. So some children were able to answer correctly, and some children actually pointed out, okay, this is confusing. So all those who find it ambiguous, I want to ask them, what would be a better form of instruction?
Can I? Or like you would like somebody new? Of course.
New.
Yes. Please, jaldi kar lo, try.
Auntie, I'll take a separate session with you.
I think if we want the answer to be 142,
Hmm.
then the third statement could be divided into two. Like I have 4 tens, that is fine, and the next part could be the number of hundreds. The number of ones is double the number of hundreds, or we can shorten it out.
Perfect.
Something like that.
Perfect. Very good. Very good. Great. Anybody else with a different instruction? And definitely there can be multiple answers to this. Anybody else? Okay, so quickly summarizing riddle number 1, I am a 3-digit number. I am less than 200 and greater than 130. These two statements are absolutely clear. No modification needed in that. Now, the third statement, some children tens, the number of ones are double the number of tens. So the answer would be 148. Okay, this is appropriate for grades 3 to 5, depending upon which background do they come from. For kids of government schools, even grade 5 students might find it difficult, but for private schools or public schools, grade 3 and grade 4 should be appropriate. Moving on to riddle number 2, my intent remains the same. If you find it ambiguous, point it out, point out the grade that you find it appropriate for, and definitely I'm looking for the answer. Riddle number 2 is here.
I think the answer is 263.
263. Okay. Anybody else? And grade, please, also, whosoever answered it.
Just a minute.
Sure.
मुझे तो कॉम्बिनेशंस बनाने पड़ रही हैं. सम किस का 11 है और 2 इवन कौन से है. मुझे थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा इसमें.
हाँ, take your time, take your time. There is no hurry, and according to me, we are on time.
I think it should be appropriate for class 4.
Okay, perfect. And meanwhile, while others try to solve and answer, can you explain your approach also? Rupal, I think you answered, right?
Yes, I answered. So my approach was first from the first clue, I was not sure if it is a 3-digit number or it is a 3 or more digits number.
Right.
And then the sum of the digits is 11. That is fine. I kept it aside. And then when I saw third clue number 3, that is it is between 256 and 299. Then I was sure that it is a 3-digit number,
Yes.
and it is between these two.
Right.
And since it is not 281, so the options that are left from the clue number 1, that is the 2 digits should be even. So it should be in the line of 2, 6. And then we needed a sum that is 11.
Right.
So if we minus 2 plus 6, we get 3. So
Right.
263.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I think Shubham was trying to say something.
I'm getting 2 answers of.
That's okay.
this
That's okay too.
263 or 272.
Okay. And whosoever said 263 and 272, can you read the clues again and then try to eliminate one of the options? Okay, so if everybody has tried and if you guys allow, then I can explain the thought process and the rationale behind this riddle. Okay, we'll not discuss riddle 3 and 4 in detail so that we can quickly move to the next segment. So I'm going to spend some time here. Riddle 2 is definitely appropriate only for grades 4 and above. B, it's a hot skill. Okay, a lot of what do we call it, their Olympiads and all those assessment tests, they definitely ask such type of questions. My intent was to test their understanding of place value, even and odd, and how the systemic thinking basically works in their mind. Okay, I'm going to move clue by clue and I will explain the thought process while I will try to make you understand how a child thinks. Two of my digits are even, but my one digit is odd. Okay, two of my digits are even. We just know that whatever number is it, two of the digits are going to be even. I don't know how many digits are there, but my ones digit is odd. So when I have ones, tens, hundreds, I'm going to write it on the board so that the digit at ones place will be an odd number. Next thing, the sum of my digits is 11. Even at this point, I don't know how many digits are there, but I just know whatever the number is, if I add all the digits, the sum will be 11. At this point, the child does not know the answer. The child does not know how many digits are there. So a lot of kids give up. They are like, we are confused. You have to help them, be patient with the process and move on to the next clue. Okay, this is on purpose that I've put the clues in such a way that they understand there is an algorithm that they have to follow. I am between 256 and 299. At this point, a child should feel relieved that, okay, there are only certain numbers that we have to focus on. So there are two processes here, 256 and 299. What you can do depending upon your classes, that a child can write all the numbers from 256 to 299. Okay, we know that the hundreds place there is a 3-digit number now. A lot of things are clear. 3 digits number now. So 256 and 299 के बीच में होगा. हंड्रेड्स प्लेस पर 2 फिक्स हो चुका है. ठीक है, वंस प्लेस पर कोई ऑड नंबर होगा, या तो 1 होगा या 3 होगा या 5 होगा या 7 होगा या 9 होगा. ठीक है, तो एंड ऐसे हो रहा है. अब हमारे पास सिर्फ 10th प्लेस का जो ऑप्शन है वो डिसाइड करना है. ठीक है, आई एम नॉट 281. 281 यहाँ पर क्यों लिखा है, इस क्लू का पर्पस क्या है, क्योंकि 2 + 8 + 1 is 11. तो मेरे पास इसका सम ऑफ डिजिट्स 11 आ रहा है, बट ये नंबर नहीं है. अब हमें सारे ऑड नंबर्स लिखने हैं. 256 से लेके 299 के बीच में हम एक एक नंबर ऑड नंबर ट्राई करेंगे कि किसका सम ऑफ डिजिट्स 11 है या नहीं है. कटिंग शॉर्ट टू द प्रोसेस, somebody found two answers, 263 and 272. The correct answer is 263. क्यों? क्योंकि फर्स्ट क्लू लिखा हुआ है, 2 of my digits are even but my ones digit is odd. So 272 is not the correct answer क्योंकि ones digit even है. Is that okay? Any problem, any doubts, any ambiguities that you find here?
मैं एक चीज पूछना चाहता था. ये जो फोर्थ स्टेटमेंट है, आई एम नॉट 281, ये क्यों है, मतलब इसका क्या रिलेवेंस था?
क्योंकि जब आप सारे ऑड नंबर्स 256 से 299 के बीच में लिखोगे तो दो ऐसे नंबर्स हैं, 263 और 281, जो करेक्ट आंसर्स बन रहे हैं. ठीक है, दोनों का सम ऑफ डिजिट्स 11 है, दोनों ऑड नंबर्स पर एंड हो रहे हैं, दोनों इस रेंज में लाई करते हैं. इन ऑर्डर टू एलिमिनेट दैट, मैं क्या करूंगी कि यहाँ पर मैंने ये क्लू लिख दिया. Another thing that you can do to make these riddles easier is give them some options. आपने एक बॉक्स में या क्लाउड में, जैसे भी आप कंटेंट डिजाइन कर रहे हो बोर्ड पर, आपने 6 नंबर्स लिख दिए जिसमें से एक ऑप्शन करेक्ट है. ठीक है, व्हाट यू कैन डू इज कीप ऑन एलिमिनेटिंग दोज ऑप्शंस, जैसे हमने हाउस रिडल में किया था. वो कर सकते हैं या डायरेक्टली दे सकते हैं, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन व्हाट लेवल द चाइल्ड हैज अचीव्ड, और आपको उसको स्किल अप करना है, उसके कॉन्सेप्ट को उसके कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर लेके जाना है, उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग इंक्रीज करनी है. कंप्लीटली डिपेंड्स ऑन द चाइल्ड, ऑन द क्लासरूम एनवायरनमेंट, ऑन योर इंस्ट्रक्शन. ठीक है, एम आई क्लियर टिल हियर?
Yeah.
Okay. I am not going to discuss riddle 3 and 4 in detail. These are similar riddles. Okay, 4-digit number, blah blah blah, instruction, same riddle number 4. ठीक है, वो appropriate grade 4 and above के लिए है. ठीक है, you can take a look at it later. Moving on to the next segment, which is very important from the perspective of hands-on activity. I hope you guys were able to solve the riddles. Now, I expect everybody to create a riddle. I need Kritika's help. Kritika, can you paste the link of Jamboard in the chat?
Yes, I shared it. I will share it again.
Okay. So all those who are able to access the Jamboard, this is how it will look like. I can see some people are joining. I'll explain once everybody is here. Okay. Please stick to the first page only, creative segment 1. I'll help you how do we work on Jamboard. This is Google Jamboard, basically some sort of whiteboard, digital whiteboard that you can say. Okay, it comes as a part of Google Suite, the entire Google Docs, Sheets, everything. Is everybody here? Is everybody able to access? Should I wait for somebody? I can see people joining. Okay, so what I expect from everybody is take 2 minutes or so. What you have to do is you have to create your own riddle. No limitation on the grade, no limitation on the concept, no restriction. The only restriction is time because we have a time limit to follow. I want everybody to take only quickly 2 minutes, put all the hints that come to your mind, create a very small riddle. Okay, what you have to do is, this is the sticky note option. When you click on it, don't write, or whoever is scribbling. Okay, take a sticky note from here and choose a color and then write. There is no option of font size or anything. You just have to write, and then when you click it, let's say I save, so it will be here. Okay, this OneNote will get here, and then you can take more. If you want more, you can do that. Otherwise, you can clear it. Start creating your riddles. I am waiting while I erase all this scribbling that whosoever has done it. Existing batches, alumni, anybody who wants to create any riddle. We have 2 minutes to follow. I'll stop at 12:46. Take a sticky note. If you're finding any technical issues, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Do create some riddles so that we are able to share our experiences. In case there is something that I can help you with, I would be happy to do that. And don't worry, I'll share the Jamboard after the meeting so that you are able to access it always. All those who have joined from phone might not be able to access Jamboard. They might have to install the app. So maybe you can just watch or create your riddles and send them in the chat box. You can do that also. Let me know so that I can check the chat box. Oh, finally I can see a riddle. I'll just keep moving so that they do not overlap. Yes, thank you. I am double the number of legs a crab has. I am also the number of teeth you have. A number of teeth is very subjective, so maybe you can change that. It's not very inclusive. Try to think from the perspective of a child of the grade that you are focusing on. If you are focusing on a 10-year-old, try to think how a 10-year-old child thinks. It's very simple to say that, but very difficult to actually put it into practice. How will a 10-year-old child visualize the world around them? If I ask them to create a riddle, how will they create a riddle? This is the flip learning that I'm focusing on here, and the hands-on experience which I want them to have. When they create their thought process becomes very clear, because not only they understand what, they also understand why and how. 12:46 already, 1 more minute. Is anybody facing any difficulty? Because I can't see a lot of riddles here. Or maybe you can create it later as you wish. Okay, so whosoever has created this riddle, I'm double the number of legs a crab has. Who is this person? Can you please unmute yourself and explain?
Yeah, I was that person.
I could guess it.
Why are you asking me stupid questions then? Okay, so this is what I couldn't, before I could come up with the next hint, the time was up. So yeah, but that made sense to me. Suppose somebody has like, I don't know, a few teeth less, or they've lost a couple of teeth because their milk teeth broke off or something. So yeah, it is going to be ambiguous. Oh no, yes. So I was still thinking about how to what else can I use half as a conduit here to connect it to the number that I'm trying to come with, which by the way is 16. So yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. Interesting thought process, but yes, we can definitely develop it further. Who is the yellow sticky note person? Can you please explain your riddle?
Yeah, I am.
Yes.
It's 7. X is a odd number.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have to eliminate one alphabet from X.
Okay.
So it's if we eliminate S from 7th, it's become even. So
Okay. Okay.
Basically,
And which
it's more alphanumeric, I feel.
that I understood. But which grade is it designed for?
sorry.
Which grade have you kept in mind while writing this riddle?
I think 5th.
5th grade. Okay. And why do you think that this would be appropriate for grade 5? See, I'm not pointing out anything here. I just want to understand your thought process so that I am also able to contribute.
Yeah, my thought process is, I think.
Is it better now?
हेलो
Hello.
एक मेरे पास एक 5th क्लास का स्टूडेंट था तो फिर शायद मैंने इसीलिए कर दिया ऐसा कुछ.
अच्छा, ठीक ठीक. Okay. Now I have 2 remarks here. Okay. Probably, in my understanding and experience, probably a grade 5 child would not be able to understand in terms of X. Some kids might be able to understand, but if we have to keep it generic, try to write it in a format which is child friendly. Let's say I am an odd number, okay, and my name is X, something like that, so that they are able to understand. Because even at grade 5, children understand that X is something which is unknown, and they kind of give up at the first hint only. So you have to keep that thing in mind, so you can tweak it accordingly. Second thing, when you create a riddle, try to keep the sentences as simple, as short, and as precise as possible. When you create a riddle, read it at least 5 times, that there is no ambiguity. At every step is processed. There is a reasoning behind what you have written. Okay. Now I can see a lot of riddles. Would anybody else like to explain their riddle? I can see 2 blue and 1 green one. I am a multiplication pattern. I take all the positive numbers less than me. Who has written this one?
This is mine, Kritika.
Yeah, Kritika, go ahead.
I think I would first like if you could guess this, then I'll explain.
Okay, let everybody guess this then. Just a heads up for people who have other commitments, the session will continue till 1:30. Okay, so in case you want to leave, feel free to leave, because after this we just have a story to discuss and another creative segment followed by Q&A. So this is going to be the flow of session, in case you were wondering. I'll go back to solving it. Okay, Kritika, which grade is it relevant for?
Actually, since I was planning for permutation and combination, so that was the only thing in my mind. So grade 11, I think.
Okay.
Because, permutation and combination, and the answer of this is introduced that grade only.
Okay. So I don't know what the answer is. If anybody else knows it.
I don't know if it should be like it is taking all the positive numbers less than with it. So all the positive numbers, I don't know.
Okay. No problem. I really like this one because it's very simple. I am a number between 1 to 9. I come after 4 and 6. If you know, give me a high five. Interesting, and the answer is there. Okay. Now, one thing is that write this whole riddle in 3 short sentences, because it's something which is relevant for grade 1 students. Okay, and grade 1 child will know only very simple sentences. A lot of them don't like reading, so maybe we can make it in the form of an audio riddle, but keep your sentences very small. Put pauses or full stops or write them in bubbles. Okay, I know there is a limitation here in the Jamboard, but just in so that you know what my feedback is. This is what I understand. Coming back to the permutation and combination part, Kritika, I feel this can be developed further. Okay, and when you are writing a riddle, make sure you know what the answer is. Riddles
The
can't.
answer is actually factorial. That
Okay,
was what I planned. I thought
okay, big
it's
factorial.
obvious. The factorial sign only,
Okay,
basically.
okay. That is interesting. That is interesting. I just wanted you to know that, you know, whenever you make a riddle, you can't leave it on an ambiguous note or an open-ended note that these are all going to be the answers. Those are a different set of riddles. We are focusing here on riddles with precise answers. I really found your riddle to be interesting, but maybe we can, you know, just modify it further also. But this is interesting. Now, keeping in mind the time we have, can we quickly move to the next segment, or anybody has any questions here at this point or at the end of session? Any questions that anybody has? Anybody? Okay, no questions. Okay, moving on to next segment. Here we have no questions. Ed will be happy to answer in case you have any. Story time again. We love stories. We can understand stories. And with respect to mathematics, there are some stories that we are going to discuss. Before I discuss any stories, I'm going to stop presenting my screen because I want to interact. Why mathematical storytelling is extremely important, needed, and wanted in classrooms, in content. Children love stories, they understand, they connect to you, and storytelling is the easiest way to make any concept understand. Okay, in the mathematical storytelling, the primary element again is going to be the mathematical concept that you are trying to focus on, but the supporting elements can be your ethnic stories, your real life experiences, the experiences of a child that you are dealing with, and you can definitely put some sort of learnings which are also addressed as value based questions in the higher grades. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is why I chose this topic, because I feel 21st century mathematical skills are extremely important. When we are doing mathematical storytelling, we can introduce a lot of skills like collaboration, cooperation, problem solving, understanding that we need in real life. When we do storytelling, we can actually enact it in the classrooms, we can take up role plays, and then when children enact it, they use their own thought process and we get to understand their perspectives also. Okay, so that is the whole rationale. Moving to the mathematical storytelling, going back to the screen, I will share my screen again. Okay, so here is a story that I have developed. Okay, I am not going to say anything. Take 2 minutes, read it, thoroughly read it, because I will need your help in the next segment. Also, once you are done, please just unmute yourself and let me know so that we can move ahead quickly. It's 12:57, so maybe we'll start with the next segment at 1 o'clock.
I am done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, okay. No problem. If you're done reading once, maybe give it another read or so, because I will wait for everybody else to read. I'll wait for another minute or so.
यस हो गया.
Okay, okay. Okay, so all those who are done, your Jamboard is open on your screens. Okay, go to creative segment 2, the next page. When you move on the screen at the top, you can see, you can go to the next segment. I want you to create questions, mathematical or not, with respect to this story. I want you to design questions which are grade and age appropriate with respect to this story that a child is going to answer. So, some very important points that you have to keep in mind: child psychology, grade appropriateness, concept relevance, and your instruction needs to be super precise, super short, and super clear. All those who are done reading, go to creative segment 2 and start designing your questions, as many as you want to. I know the session is a lot of hands-on and you didn't expect probably, but I want to understand how everybody is thinking and how we can help each other. My screen is going to be shared, okay, so you can definitely uh, see the story at all the times. Go to creative segment 2 on the Jamboard and start creating your questions. I'll quickly take a look at the Jamboard in another 1 minute so that I know if people are able to access it. And just a little relief, no more creative segments after this, so don't worry.
अपूर्वा.
Yes?
हाँ, एक चीज पूछना था कि
Hmm.
इस स्टोरी को रीड करके हमें रिडल्स फॉर्म में क्वेश्चंस बनाने हैं या जस्ट क्वेश्चंस बनाने हैं?
जस्ट क्वेश्चंस, रिडल फॉर्म भी हो सकती है, जस्ट क्वेश्चंस भी हो सकते हैं, सब्जेक्टिव, ऑब्जेक्टिव, मल्टीपल चॉइस, वर्ड प्रॉब्लम, एनीथिंग दैट यू वांट टू क्रिएट. जस्ट कीप दोज गाइडलाइंस इन माइंड कि अगर ग्रेड 3 या ग्रेड 4 का बच्चा ये स्टोरी पढ़ेगा तो वो क्वेश्चंस कितनी सिंपल लैंग्वेज में होनी चाहिए कि वो आंसर कर पाए. जस्ट दैट.
जैसे मैं यहाँ से मुझे ऐसा लगता है मैं लीनियर इक्वेशंस के भी आई थिंक 7th 8th 9th ग्रेड के लिए भी क्वेश्चंस बना सकता हूँ.
हाँ. डू दैट जस्ट मेंशन, अपना ग्रेड मेंशन कर देना अपनी स्टिकी नोट पर, सो दैट आई नो कि कौन सा ग्रेड है. ठीक है.
ओके.
हाँ. If you want to do that, feel free to do that. Everybody has 2-3 more minutes to create questions so that we can quickly move on to the next part of this session. If anybody is facing any problems, any doubts, or they're finding it boring, please feel free to unmute yourself and just say it. I'm curious to look at the creative segment, so I'll just, I can see a lot of questions. Great. We'll wait till 1:05. Then we'll discuss this story. What I wanted, what was my intent in rationale. We'll discuss the questions, and then we move on to final segment. Okay. So 2 more minutes to go. If anybody is done creating questions, they can tell that also.
I'm done.
Okay, great. One last minute. This Jamboard is going to be shared with everybody after the presentation, so don't worry. You can access it at any point. You want to create more slides, you want to use it for your own purpose, create a copy, do that. So don't worry, okay? Last few seconds. I will just move to Jamboard. Now, okay. I can see a lot of questions. Okay. So what I will do here now is I will go to the story first. I will discuss my intent and rationale, the objective that was behind the story, each and every sentence, and then we come back to these questions, discuss them. Okay. I will share the story screen again. Now, this is appropriate for both grade 3 and 4, depending upon your student background. I wrote this story with a lot of concepts in mind, with a lot of objectives in mind. Each and every sentence of the story was carefully designed in a way that we do not at any point communicate any unhealthy habits. Okay, so when I wrote all the fruits, eggs, cornflakes, or vegetable sandwich, I did that on purpose. I could have written cupcakes, cakes, pastries, chips, all those things which kids like, but I want to focus on those good habits also. Another thing is that there is a personal cause behind it, that we have to focus on inclusivity at all the points. So when, let's say I take an example where I'm talking about body parts of a child. Okay, there are a lot of kids who are specially abled. They already feel left out from all the neurotypical people that we are. So we have to include them at all the points without making them realize that, uh, they are being done some sort of obligation. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, another thing is that there is a stereotype that I'm trying to break here towards the end of the story, that only mothers are responsible for cooking. There are a lot of inherent notions that this society tries to build in a child. So we have to focus on that also. Right sort of direction and conditioning. We as educators can definitely contribute to that, and if we are able to do that as a part of mathematical content or classrooms, nothing better than that. Okay, so this was the intent. Obviously the concepts are money, addition, multiplication, addition, subtraction, all of that. I'm going to the questions now. Let's quickly read all the questions if you haven't. What family and social values does this story communicate? Great. What is your happy Sunday like? Perfect. How much money was spent in total at the supermarket? Who spent more, Ananya or her mother? I'm not sure if Ananya spent some other money, because the assumption was Ananya's mother is making all the expenditures. So maybe we can rephrase this question. What is your favorite meal made by your dad? Perfect. How many hours did Ananya and her mother spend at the supermarket? Great, for pointing out the time. How much money was spent in total on Sunday? For grade 4, perfect. What is the total amount she spent? Okay, great. If Ananya and her mother had rupees 2000 in total with them, how much money must have left after all the expenditure? One thing, all those people who have used the word expenditure, it's not grade appropriate, so maybe use a different synonym. Another thing, don't use RS dot, try to use the rupee symbol. We are trying to stick to some practices that we should follow, so it's part of the instruction design that I keep pointing out those things. Okay, there are a lot of online websites which you can definitely refer to while checking for grade appropriate vocabulary, so use that if you are not able to find a synonym. Ananya's mother paid 144 rupees for 2 veg sandwiches. What is the cost of one veg sandwich? Great, very good question, but use rupee symbol. How many fruits she purchased from the supermarket? Okay, how many? Okay, if 3 eggs are broken, then how many eggs left? How many eggs are left? How long they outside the home in minutes? Very good question. Very nice questions. At this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I want to go back to the next segment. Okay, go to the next segment. Okay, so these were the questions. Till now, a summary of the entire session. We started with activity-based learning. We discussed some activity riddles. We created riddles. We solved them. We moved on to mathematical storytelling. We discussed the rationale. We discussed the story, create our own questions, amazing questions. So well done, everybody. Now, at this point, I have a few points that I wanted to discuss. Okay, I've already pointed them out, but I will just summarize it for everybody. It's important to focus on the concept that you are trying to build. Don't digress. Use activity-based learning, storytelling, or whatever elements that you're using just as support elements. If you're trying to use them as main elements, mathematical portion should be equally focused upon. Don't focus too much on the activity that the mathematical essence is lost, because when you are part of a school system or any company, they expect you to stick to mathematical concept. Okay, do read a lot of good books on mathematical concepts so that your fundamentals are strong and you are able to communicate them. Very important observation that has to be made here is, while we are doing activity based learning, a lot of times there is a scope of errors and misconceptions. Try to ask the child not only the answer but why and how behind the answer. What is their thought process, so that if at any point they are trying to execute some sort of rote learning that they are unaware of, you as educator are able to point it out and help them with the right thought process. So why and how, very, very important. Another thing is, we are trying to create some joyful learning experiences here. It would be amazing if you are able to give real life learning. If not, then that's okay. Okay, but I just wanted to include all those elements so that we know that the scope is always going to be there. Another thing that I talked about is child psychology. Whatever grade you are working on, whoever child you are working with, focus on how they think, not you expect them to think, how they think, and how they expect a teacher to help them. Don't spoon feed, don't do a lot of hand holding, but guide them. Ask them to do a lot of hit and trial, ask them to explain their thought process so that their mathematical expression becomes clearer and uh, conceptually strong. Another thing is, activity based learning gives us a lot of scope of practicing differentiated learning. When I ask a child to create their own activities, I understand that okay, every child operates at a different learning level. I never want to create any two kids, so I want them to understand that whatever you do is right. I am going to help you at the right point in your own way. So you don't have to ever make the child feel that this kid has done quickly, or this kid has made such a perfect riddle. This is a very subjective and not so good statement. Help the child in the riddle that they have created with, and help them scaffold from there, reach at a higher level from their own levels. This is differentiated learning, which is important. Okay. Last point before I conclude the session, last point is EDI. EDI is equality, diversity, and inclusivity. A lot of focus these days is being put on gender. Don't focus on only two genders, male and female. A child does not know what their gender would be, because again, a social construct. So address them as them, their, or respect them and treat them how they want to be treated. If they are not feeling comfortable in something, try to understand their rationale. You can't focus a child to close their eyes, because a child might feel very traumatized every time they close their eyes. You don't know which background a child is coming from. It's very important to focus on inclusivity. Every child should feel involved in the classroom. Now, all these points are very simple statements, probably very difficult to focus on and implement, put it in practice, but maybe we can take little steps every time we design content in the classrooms or for the kids outside of the classroom. And let me say, yeah, I am done. So any questions related to the session, related to your experiences, or completely different, completely on a different tangent?